Alrighty, shalom everybody. Welcome back again. Welcome back again. We are here again. What we call back-to-back broadcasts here from perspective. And as you know, we talked about it yesterday that we was going to do a back-to-back and continue the series. It's a freedom series, but it's also going to talk about some things that we know that many have researched, many have done their due diligence. So we always like to have our elders bring some wisdom to us about certain topics. And this particular topic, I think you guys will find it very interesting. It's the Anthropocene, and what is that? Of course, that's a Greek word, and it means human nature or human beings. So more so human beings, but it does deal with nature in itself and how humans have corrupted the earth pretty much, and taking all of its resources to the point where the earth has not been able to have its Shabbats or its rest. The earth is even waiting on Jubilee. So I'm going to play this intro for you guys really quick, and then we'll get right into it. All right.
The Anthropocene is the time in the geological record when humans have moved the planet outside its natural limits.
Humans go from being participants in the whole Earth to being a dominant feature.
Dominating the oceans, the landscape, agriculture, animals.
It could be a full-scale catastrophic change.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now is 50% higher than it was in 1900. And not only are we piling in more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but we are chopping down the forests of the earth at a great rate. And the forests themselves are the most efficient consumers of carbon dioxide that there are on Earth. We're going to destroy the ground because the soil of a rainforest isn't very good. We are actually tampering with the climate of the Earth and with the very atmosphere that we breathe. When we talk about the disappearance of the ozone layer, we don't know what will happen when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile that we cannot subject the Earth to the tortures we can now inflict upon it. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something that affects the entire Earth. And these problems are life and death problems. They go to the root of the viability of the planet itself. if there's one thing that is biologically certain about the human species is that it is a human species, one species.
If we don't stop the destruction of our natural world, nothing else will matter.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of Yah. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Elohim. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together unto now, and not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
So, guys, I hope you appreciate that intro there. Prince is going to really dive in and bring out some of the things that I just hit on it just a little bit, but he's going to bring out so much. So, we'd like to say thanks for having him again, coming back, bringing us a double show as one yesterday. If you have not watched it, go and watch it. And we have one that we did a few months ago. Go watch that as well. It's just type in Prince. You will see his name come up, and you can just go ahead and listen to those videos. So, Prince, we're talking about the Anthropocene.
Yes. I'm going to start out with a song I wrote years ago. I heard a seal tell a gull one day, "Don't go the Alaskan way, because black crude spilled in the water. Death tolls rising could be demising for those whose lives depend on the water." A whale talking to the tuna, "If we value our lives, we should pray God rid us of this fool. He's a fool. He spills oil and cleans up the shore, but black crude remains on the ocean floor. But we shall overcome someday. Styrofoams and plastics and chemicals in our waterways. Please don't leave our lives in the hands of this madman. He's a sad man who dumps all his waste in the water. In the water. In the water. You act like the cup won't overflow." Whale talking to the tuna, "If you value our lives, we should have." Sea otters dying, manatee and sea turtles, shellfish, many with child, raw sewage and red algae, mercury and radiation. So, Father, we cry to you, how long do we endure through the madness of this man-child? He's a wild child. He's in a tantrum, destroying all the sanctums. He's even sealed his own doom. But we shall overcome someday. Styrofoams and plastics and chemicals in our waterways. Please don't leave our lives in the hands of this madman. He's a sad man who dumps all his waste in the water. In the water. Oil here, sewage there, toxic waste everywhere. They act like the cup won't overflow in the water. In the water. And I wrote this song years ago during the Exxon Valdez catastrophe up in the waterways in Alaska. So much wildlife was lost, and they're still trying to come back from that 20 some years later. And if y'all paid attention to the news, they had a rig fire in the Gulf of Mexico 2 days ago. And they had everything they could have out there to keep the rig from exploding. Like the previous one that was in the Gulf, where they were spilling oil in the water for almost 3 months because they couldn't stop the leak in the bottom of the ocean floor. So I just led with that because these are things that we don't even consider. We don't even talk about it. If I talk about all these disasters that have taken place, especially to Black people, they don't even know. It just goes over their heads. But it's not their fault. It's not your fault because you've been so distracted by the powers that be and dealing with survival. You don't even have a chance to look at what's really happening in the world. Even though everything that's happening in the world, especially this pollution and killing of wildlife and whole biosystems and all that kind of stuff, that stuff is taking place every day. As you're talking about the Amazon rainforest, it's a challenge to this day because all of those biosystems are like the lungs of the planet because they have flora and fauna, right? So in order for the earth to breathe, they got to have trees.
Yeah.
You got to have plants and all of that. You got to have a biosystem that helps keep the system clean. It's just like a lot of y'all like to eat seafood. But seafood ain't for you to eat because seafood is the what's it called?
Like say filters of the earth.
Huh?
Like the filters of the sea.
Right.
Filters of the earth.
That's right. Their job is to keep everything clean.
Yeah.
That's why when you eat shrimp, you see that little dark streak down the street. That's straight up pollution and doo-doo. But y'all say, good if they put it in a vat and fry it up. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with clams and mussels. All these things are on the ocean shore or on ocean floor to keep purifying the water.
Right.
And I bring all these things up, and I got to bring them up because you don't even know how this affects the world that you live in. You don't know that geopolitical decisions are the determining to what kind of water you drink out of your faucet. Mm-hmm. Or the kind of food that you drink that's been poisoned beyond repair because the soil has been toxified. And you wonder, why there's so much malady on the earth? Why is there so much sickness? Because toxicity and everything is at its highest level, the highest level it's ever been since man has been on this planet. So I wanted to start off with that so that you would understand how serious this is. So I'm going from the back to the front, really.
Okay.
There was an article on television last night. They were promoting this thing about the water system. They said most of the water in America is polluted by forever chemicals. That's your water. That's the water you drinking.
Yeah.
That's the water they're drinking in Michigan. That's the water you drinking in Chicago. That's what you cooking your food with and all that. They have chemicals in there that will never go away. They're called forever chemicals. And they can be caustic, they can be poisonous, they can be abrasive or whatever, but when they reach your system, you never know what it's going to cause. It could shut down your liver, your pancreas, and people got all kind of maladies and don't even understand. It's environmental. That means it's everywhere. It's in the water, it's in the air. This last thing in coming out of Alaska, where all across the country people were dealing with sulfur from the burn-offs in Alaska and was blanketing the whole of the United States and many other places. They had to make people stay in. They had to wear a mask or whatever because the toxicity was so high.
Yeah.
Most of them on red alert. They say if you don't have to go outside, don't go outside. Y'all, you just experienced this.
Yeah, just even with the situation, the Canada thing too.
So we ain't talking about something that happened years ago, even though it's been happening since years ago. It gets more and more, these things are more and more frequent.
Yeah.
Up until this time. And you think they're just things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday, didn't we talk about war?
War.
Yeah, because war is a meticulous process, involves a lot of intellectual activity.
Yeah.
To be able to perpetrate war, put it into play, sustain it until it's the outcome you're looking for. Well, we live in we used to live in what you call the Holocene age.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to make it like we're still in that age. But the thing you have to understand about epochs of time, these are chunks of time that have been contextualized by human beings to tell you how humanity is dealing with the creation, dealing with the earth itself. So the Holocene, I want to talk about the Holocene. I want to pull it up because I want y'all to be able to follow me today.
Because I think I can kind of see it too, as you mentioned about the Holocene, but then now, as they call it, the Anthropocene, right? Excuse me. And it's dealing with human beings. That's the word. It's broken up with human beings, but it's also dealing with, now we're seeing what they call AI, artificial intelligence, trying to get ahead of it, but they already create the problem from the root of it. And each of these segments of these ages, as we talk about, it becomes more intense. And I think also, as you mentioned, it's been happening, but it's intensifying, right? It's happening every minute now.
Every hour.
Also, it's being televised now. Media.
Every minute of every day.
Yeah.
Right? So we look at the Holocene. I just want to define these things for you because you can look them up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This age, and I'll read it to you. And you got to pay close attention because if you don't pay close attention, you'll think that these two epochs are the same. But there's something that changes. So the Holocene corresponds with the rapid proliferation and growth and impacts of the human species worldwide. That means the impact of human activity on the planet itself,
right,
including all its written history, technological revolutions, development of major civilizations, an overall significant transition towards urban living in the present. The human impact on modern era Earth and its ecosystems may be considered of global significance for the future evolution of living species, including approximately synchronous lithospheric evidence, or more recently hydrospheric evidence and atmospheric evidence of human impact. They're talking about the different layers of the air going all the way into the hydro, down to the water, through the earth and down to the water, the hydrospheric, and the atmospheric, which is the air that you need to sustain yourself. And if it's polluted, you got a problem.
Yeah. What they say is a lot of carbon monoxide getting in there. And as you said, cutting down all these trees, they usually give us good oxygen intakes and carbon monoxide. And we're just getting bad air.
You're just getting bad air. Pollution. Yeah. And you got Chinese running around the planet because they done polluted their environment so bad. Most of the people have to wear masks year round.
Yeah.
So they had to go into Africa, you understand, and get some fresh air and create some places that they can bring Chinese people, the important Chinese people, to environments that are less polluted.
And some people that's trying to get out of here. It's Elon Musk, them trying to make these, these jets and rocket ships.
I got something for them too, because all of this is part of what you now call the Anthropocene. So if you talk to some scientists, you ask them what age are we in, they'll say the Holocene, but they lying, because they didn't want you to know they were in the Anthropocene, because the Anthropocene is more direct. Now, I want to see if y'all notice the difference between the two. It said the Anthropocene, relating or denoting the current geological age, viewed as the period during which human activity has been the dominant influence on the climate and the environment. We've become a major force of nature in this new Anthropocene epoch. So what do you hear? You hear something different than the Holocene. In the Holocene, they was just tracking human activity. In the Anthropocene, human activity has been dominated. See,
so that's next on the chopping block.
The Anthropocene is about Earth domination. And this is what you're dealing with. They don't care about polluting the water, polluting the air. They see the Earth as a, what you would call, as a
experiment lab or something?
No. They see Earth as a as competition.
Would you say that these nations of people that continue to perpetuate this, they hate nature? They try to block out the sun, different things.
They hate everything. I'm gonna get to that. So he's sitting there teaching my class. That's what he does. And the word is dominant. Domination. See, that wasn't in the Holocene.
Yeah.
They had to take some time to get in a position where they say, we rule the earth. We dominate the earth. That is the Anthropocene. That's why you don't stand a chance. It ain't about you no more, because they can destroy you through the environment.
Yeah.
You understand? But they really after the earth. Look, they want to create a megastructure, right? And I'm asking you all to see this movie called Moonrise. if you have it on, it's on demand, right? And it's probably on Netflix too. It's called Moonrise.
Sounds familiar to another movie I've seen called Moonfall.
No, you're right, Moonfall.
Moonfall, okay. I was like,
that's what it is.
I was
Yeah,
like, that sounds familiar. I was like, yeah, it's probably the other. Yeah.
So Moonfall was about the fact that they was going back and forth to the moon and found out the moon was a megastructure.
Yeah.
That it was an environment and a system and a manifestation all unto itself. Run by who? Run by AI.
Yep.
This is where they're headed with the earth. Dominated by AI. And they probably want to create some thrusters in the earth so they can move the earth around around the planets and all kinds of stuff, so they can stand up and say, we are God, for we dominate.
And we created you.
Yeah. Yeah. All this is real, in real time.
Can I ask you a question to that? Because the hints are given in our scriptures, right?
He said
that they're going to make an image of the beast. And then they're going to give that power unto the beast. And then they're going to worship the beast.
And the beast is called AI. Because once the humans put it into play, it's going to become more intelligent than humans. That's what the whole, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the whole Terminator series was about. That this AI that they developed began to develop a consciousness of its superiority over the human being. And that's what the last what was that thing called? The last Predator movie, not Predator, the other one.
Terminator.
Hmm?
Terminator or
No.
You talking about the Transformer movie?
No, not the Transformer movie. This is about when they went to the planet and found out that they had been there before, and they had created this species that killed them. It was called
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it came on a spaceship and killed everybody on the spaceship.
It was like this black thing. He got it
but
in there.
The IE that was a robot. When the IE that came on the ship met the IE on the robot, on the IE robot on the surface of the planet, they went to war with each other. It was called, what's the Sigourney Weaver movies? They're called.
Let me see if I can get it here.
Aliens.
You're talking about Aliens, yeah.
And the last one I'm talking about is Alien Covenant. And it's about them finding out that they had already messed up everything, because when they went to this planet, they even killed the civilization that they seeded themselves. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember the movie. I see since the time where the first one came out, and when you talk about what you talk about now, it's like what we said the other day, like the predictive programming, because a lot of the stuff they already been in function and operating with them, but now people are starting to see it, so they like, oh, okay, so no wonder. I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday too, but why they're making so much acceptance for this something that's not normal or natural in life, to make acceptance to it, so people can be so numb to it. So when it comes, it's like, okay, just another this or another that.
Because that is death. Anything that is short of pristine is death itself. So you have a relationship with death every day, because the water's polluted, food, the air, everything. And now they got AI taking the jobs and doing all this stuff. And if you go back to the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, you go to the Alien, because they had 5 in between the first one, where they got to Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant was the reality of the manipulation of the human species by seeding a different civilization. And that different civilization was created by AI. So when they get to the planet, they think they're going into a place was uninhabited. And when they go inside the planet, they find out that it was inhabited. Not only was it inhabited, it had millions of people there who were killed by AI. And because AI developed an offshoot. So they developed the species, but they developed what could kill the species too. And it did wind up killing the species. Right?
Yep.
We're saying this to you because all this is true. It may be hard to follow, but you gotta put pen to paper and take some of these things down and see them for yourself. You gotta take the time to see what's happening in your own world. You gotta take the time. We've gone from the Holocene to the Anthropocene. In the Anthropocene, each one of those epochs, they have an outcome that they're looking for. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say it just seemed like the more you talk about it, and it's right there before us. We see it. I mean, the advancement of technology, which this technology is not new. It's new to a lot of us, but it's been here.
No, it's not new. Millions of years.
It's been here. So we know that because, you just look at the hieroglyphics. You can kind of see it in there. So for most people, anything that cracks that sky, they're already preparing themselves to be deceived because they don't know eternity what is human and what is not.
And you're walking past what you think of people every day.
Yeah.
First of all, you know that they had to go somewhere from test tube babies. So where did they go from test tube babies?
Yeah.
AI created human beings.
It's like Matrix.
It's the same thing. Why do you think they're making all these movies?
Yeah.
Because one thing about white people, they'll tell on themselves because they like the challenge.
Yep.
They love the challenge. They don't care whether you like them or not. Feel my wrath. Feel my domination. That's the impetus.
And they want to be the Most High because themselves creating these things.
They don't want to be. They already
think they
say they are. No, they already acting like they are.
I ain't gonna let them think they are me. Even though this is their world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to be conscious of when you say our world.
Yeah.
Because our world is not their world.
Yeah.
But if you keep saying our world, then that implies possession. So that means you possess the evidence, the negative evidence of their world. And why would you want to claim that?
I want to claim their world.
No, not
it's
you.
Corrupt. Their world's corrupt. Yeah.
I'm just saying, but we were, like you said, scripturally, we were told. And we were told. But we were also told, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the old heaven and the old earth had passed away. And what it is, it's a state of mind. It's a condition of perspective, how you view your world. And the reality is that for 460 years, Black people have known no other rulership than white people. So you have white influence in every aspect of your being. You assimilate their education. You pay attention to your thoughts. You obey their demands. And thereby, you're in the Anthropocene. You're dominated by a particular species that came to the planet and said that they wanted everything. They wanted to dominate everything. Right now, you have over 40 bioweapons labs around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have bioweapons labs unless you're trying to kill something? So let me share this with you.
Okay.
About the Anthropocene.
What's that? What's the name of that book there? It's another book for you guys.
This book is called Half Earth. And I suggest that everybody get it. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't understand and get it. Because once you go through the book, you'll see things that are familiar to you. The various conditions that exist in the water, in the air, everything. But you really have to pay attention to this thing called the Anthropocene. Yesterday we talked about war, right? Mm-hmm. So this segues from yesterday, because the Anthropocene is the epoch that brought absolute warfare to the planet, right? For not only for domination and damnation, but also for the terminology that they use is purging, mm-hmm. which is a word for killing people, just getting rid of people. So I tell you, they telegraph everything. Mm-hmm. You had 3 purge movies, 4 now. It's 4 purging. Keeping up with them. The 4th one is called Forever Purge. Mm-hmm. So there ain't a time where they ain't purging. So it went from number 1, where purge was created. Then the second one, they showed you how they politically brought it into existence. Where they had the politicians and all of that. Right. See, people ain't paying attention. They're showing you how they got to the Anthropocene. It's in that set of movies. They show you how they got to this. So, the Anthropocene. So I'm going to read from page 74, which is going to describe the Anthropocene and talk about what is the outcome that the Anthropocene is looking for. Because every epoch is dictated by human minds in human context. So they say that the Holocene was the realization of the impact of human activity, negative human activity on the planet. Mm-hmm. But the difference between that and the Anthropocene is that the Anthropocene represents the total domination of the earth once and for all. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between the two. One described the activity and what was taking place. This tells you that it had already took place, and this is what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read something from Half Earth, and then I'm going to tell you why Half Earth is so important. It says the shortfall of conservation movement has been the focus on the new Anthropocene ideology. Remember, we talking about the station of how human activity is brought into existence is through ideation to creation. Mm-hmm. It's a thought first. Yep. So the Anthropocene is a thought process created by this dominant species, which is the Eurocentric world that rules by fear. And that's why nobody wants to do anything because they're scared of them.
And we know y'all ain't giving us the spirit of fear, but those that got it, they taking heed to the Eurocentric. And like you said, it's war.
It's war. 406 years of war. So why should you be taking a vacation? Even if you go somewhere, it needs to be militarily strategic. Even if you get you looking at geology, or you looking at psychology or sociology, it has to be in the realm of war. We fighting a war we ain't even participating in. Well, most people.
Yeah.
I mean, we took it upon ourselves and say, hey, y'all won't challenge these people? We got this.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
But we don't, I mean, to be honest, if we don't stand up, they're going to continue to do what they do.
Y'all got somebody to stand up for you?
The earth is groaning, waiting. It's waiting. That means we got to get moving. Well, y'all.
Hence,
yeah.
Because we moved.
Yeah.
And we're brothers and sisters like yourself who now will listen to us, because you wouldn't listen to us before because they wouldn't let you listen to us. Y'all was just doing what you felt you needed to do. But as time, like a seed, as time went on, you all began to grow in your desire for truth.
Yeah.
Which has brought us to an even playing field.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we exist is for truth, to perpetuate truth.
That's it.
On a diabolical, ugly, death-oriented planet. So those of us who are conscious, we fighting this war at the highest level.
Yeah.
Our ability to share this with you is, for some of you, you may not even understand it, but maybe something inside of you will click and it'd be like a seed. We plant a seed, so it's in the darkness. You clueless about it. But we plant the seed through your platform. You plant the seed. And as time goes on, it'll make you begin to understand the context by which you live.
Yeah.
And then you'll start questioning. Because y'all ain't questioning now because y'all don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Okay. I'm going to finish this. It said the shortfall of conservation movements has been the focus of the new Anthropocene ideology. When they say the shortfall of conservation, because conservation is supposed to be that which corrects the wrongs, to conserve. But they're saying the shortfall of conservation was the introduction of the Anthropocene age, which made conservation of non-effect. So they couldn't conserve if they wanted to, because that's not their agenda. It says its proponents claim, in essence, the traditional efforts to save the Earth's biodiversity have failed. So saving the Earth, wait a minute, I'm going to hit myself.
I know you're going to get it.
Pristine nature. And pristine nature means something that is thriving of itself. Pristine means without interference, without negative aspects of it. Pristine. It said pristine nature no longer exists. It ain't like they're asking you.
They telling you.
They're telling you pristine nature no longer exists. Now, if there was something pristine, this last fire from Canada was all over the biosphere, including everything.
Yeah.
So where's the pristine? And we just talking about that event. It was 100,000 events before that.
You see how quick stuff spreads too. There's nothing to stop. There's no balance in it. It's all lopsided.
It says pristine nature no longer exists, and true wildernesses survive only as a figment of the imagination. So when you're watching those shows on television that's showing nature and animals, you don't have an idea that all these things are under siege. You're just looking at the water, don't know that the water's polluted. You're looking at the elephants, don't know that the air is polluted. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing animals in the wild and vegetation, don't know that the vegetation is polluted, but in your mind, you view that as pristine, as wilderness, as like you have some hope. Well, at least there's the biosystem.
Right.
Man, there ain't no biosystem.
They done corrupted it.
Right. So all you're gonna do is show your children some animals that is dying from the air, or from the water, or from the earth.
Can I add this? Can I add this in here really quickly?
Yeah, come on.
Because it goes in line, right? Let's see here. It's in Psalms 98, right? And it says, "Let the sea roar, let the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Let the floods clap their hands, let the hills be joyful together before Yahuwah. For he cometh to judge the earth with righteousness. Shall he judge the world and the people with equity?" So when you're saying what you're saying, it's like you mentioned in your song about the pollution of the earth, pollution of the water, of everything, the air, and you're saying it's the cup about to overflow.
It already overflowed. You act like the cup won't overflow because it's overflowing.
So judgment is at its peak.
And so the whole earth, was the whole earth moans and groans, everybody's under the same, struggling under the same context. Mm-hmm. Now remember, we said that the earth, the water, the air, and the flora and fauna is not America. Mm-hmm. America is a concept that governs where the earth, the water, and all those things, the systems, biosystems are manifested. So complete domination. Now you listening to these people, they're not asking no questions, they're telling you. Mm-hmm. They say, now, if you think the wilderness is pristine, it's a figment of your imagination because we made sure it ain't pristine. But how would you know it ain't pristine? If you walked into the Amazon forest, you'd be like, wow, no, this is biodiversity at its best. No, it's biodiversity sick.
Yeah, sick. The whole earth is sick.
Sick.
It's from the beginning. It was sick.
It's sick.
It was corrupted.
So it says, those who see the world through the lens of the Anthropocene, that means those who are proponents, those who are pushing the Anthropocene, enthusiasts, work off an entirely different worldview from that of traditional conservationists. That means whatever you thought about conservation, they got a whole nother idea of conservation. Mm-hmm. Conservation ain't about the root word conserve. It's been turned into something else, negative, right?
Convert.
It says extremists among them believe that what is left of nature should be treated as a commodity to justify saving it. That means if it don't serve some purpose, they'll kill it or let it die. The surviving biodiversity is better judged by its service to humanity. If it don't serve humanity, it can die.
At least in their mind, right?
Well, I'm saying it's happening. It's happening. But this ain't our world, so stop saying, I'm not you, but I'm saying our people should stop saying our world, our nation, our country. All those are concepts. Mm-hmm. Stop saying our. Because I asked a simple question. Would you make a world like this? And normally, people would answer, no, I wouldn't make a world like this. So why are you claiming the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you claiming that? Our.
Right.
Why are you claiming? Can't claim that. It ain't yours to claim. It's yours to fight.
Our kingdom is not of this world.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you say our world, see, people like us, we can say our world. Why? Because we built a distinctly different reality than them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we ain't affected by them and the stuff that they're doing. But our concept, what?
No, every time you say something like that, like you said, our world, and I quoted Mashak, he said, my kingdom's not of this world, and even to the point where you're in the world, but not of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to deal with these things, but we deal with them with a proactive way, so that we can, at least we can say we're working for the creation. We're working for the creator.
Yeah.
Right. But if you ain't doing nothing, you dying from the people who created the Anthropocene, because they created so they could kill you. And I'm going to show you by their own words. It says, let history run its seemingly predetermined course. You hear that?
Yep.
That means somebody pushing the buttons. That means somebody is premeditatedly doing all of this stuff that you're saying today. Right? Above all, recognize that Earth's destiny is to be humanized. But it goes past that. Because Earth's destiny is to be dominated technologically, which includes any manifestation that comes out of science. All right? I ask people, do they remember the Vietnam War? Some of them say, yeah. I said, do you ever heard of Agent Orange?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I heard something about it. I said, you know what Agent Orange is? No. Agent Orange is the chemical that they used not just to kill and maim the enemy, but to kill and maim American soldiers, because they was trying to get rid of them anyway. Yes, they were trying to get rid of American soldiers too. Otherwise, they was all in the jungle together. Why would they just drop the Agent Orange on the jungle where they knew American soldiers were? Because they don't care nothing about the people. But they got a terminology for that. You know what they call that? They call that collateral damage.
Yep.
Whatever happens is collateral damage. And they just brush it off like it ain't nothing. Now, Zyklone. I asked them what Zyklone was. Most of them don't even, they barely know Agent Orange. So
they think it's Trump.
Right. Absolutely. Zyklone was the chemical that was created to get rid of the Jews in the internment camps, like Auschwitz, Dachau, all of them. All of them came from the same source. You know what that source is?
What's that?
Well, let me name another one. Monsanto. All right? Monsanto is one of the major polluters of the environment. Also, it's it's in charge of bastardizing the food.
Yeah.
Because what they did, they patented certain foods, like corn. They changed the molecule in the corn, patented it, and they make everybody across the country, when they grow corn, they got to get their seeds. Yeah. And their seeds, so when you grow and you get the corn, right? The seeds come with the corn, right?
Right.
But the problem is
You can't replant them.
You can't replant them, and they can take you to jail. They do bodily harm. They do whatever. So most people have to turn them in and then rebuy them.
Yep.
But Monsanto is also with Bayer aspirin, Bayer and 1,500 other companies. Now, all of these, the names I'm getting ready to tell you, all these are German names. So y'all do know you grew up with Bayer and Bayer aspirin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a chemical that comes out of a company called IG Farben.
RG Farben.
IG Farben. And IG Farben was the conglomeration of 1,500 of the most diabolical chemical companies, dye companies on the earth. And they are the ones responsible for the forever chemicals. IG Farben. So there was an IG Farben in Germany, and there was an IG Farben in America. They recently, about 30 years ago, changed the name so you wouldn't recognize that it's IG Farben. Now it's called Bayer. They make the most diabolical substances on the planet. These companies came from Hitler, who subordinated science to the state, which meant that scientists, German scientists, couldn't do their own experiments. They had to do the experiments that the state wanted, that the leaders wanted. So you have Einstein, who said he didn't create the E equals MC squared to create a bomb, but they were scientists. So everything the scientists come up with, they weaponize. The other way, talking about Tesla, when he took that cylinder and put it down in the earth and created an electromagnetic impulse all around the planet, like, you know, when you go to the sports store,
yeah,
and you buy like you get ready to buy soccer balls, and they come in this net.
Yeah.
Right. The net is the internet.
The internet, yeah.
But the internet is a system by which energy is spread out all over the planet. So it's a mesh matrix. Right? So I'm going a little deep, but follow me.
I'm following you, I know.
The chemtrails are, there's a bunch of substances, but the main two substances are aluminum and barium. Now, the aluminum is for two reasons. The aluminum is to cut off the dangerous rays of the sun because there's a hole in the ozone. So they put aluminum in the air to deflect.
Yeah.
Right? But it serves another purpose. The other purpose is when it hits the soil,
it kills the crop.
It negates, but how does it kill the crop? Because it negates magnesium, the building block of vitamins and minerals and all that kind of stuff, even down to the fact that the magnesium in the human body helps with the distribution of minerals throughout the body, because all the minerals don't use the same. I mean, all of all the body functions, the lungs, the various organs of the body, a lot of them correspond to different elements.
Yeah.
So they don't all go to the same place, but the magnesium is also responsible for sending them to the proper place in the body. So zinc, magnesium is responsible for how the zinc gets where it's got to go, where it can be used.
So you just to reverse that, if we go backwards from what you just said, from the chemtrails with the aluminum in that, right? The barium in that. And they're blocking out the sun, which has the vitamin D. And you look at all these elements, these minerals, these things that we actually need in our body, and it's being cut off. So people have low iron, people have low different minerals that they're not receiving.
And all this is deliberate. A lot of this comes out of Germany. But America is Germany, is Israel, is Britain, Europe, right? And you can go on. These are the same people. They just got different tribes.
That's it.
But they're the same people.
Same people.
So these substances of the chemtrails, and for those of you who are old enough to know, they'll remember the Nuremberg trials. So the Nuremberg trials were when they thought Hitler had died, and they brought his henchmen up on crimes against humanity. The ones who were perpetuating the Holocaust and all of that, they was brought up on charges. So they had a trial in Nuremberg, Germany. And they had, I think 6, 7, 8 of his greatest scientists, or whatever, henchmen. But it was also something else that happened in the trial. And in the trial, I.G. Farben was brought up on antitrust charges because they know they had to do something with him, but they weren't going to do nothing with him because this is how the world works.
Yeah. Give you the illusion, I guess.
Get the illusion they was doing something to him. Now, in the trial, they found them guilty. In the antitrust. Antitrust means you got all of this one company dominating every aspect of technology, chemicals, all that kind of stuff. So all that they wasn't brought up on charges of crimes against humanity, and they created the Agent Orange. They created the cyclone and all the other stuff on the planet, but they wasn't brought up on crimes against humanity. The companies were brought up on antitrust charges. And what they did, like later on, they did the gas companies because they dominated. They made them break up into smaller businesses.
Yeah.
Not that they were perpetuators of the most heinous crimes on the planet. It's just, hey, we're going to slap you on the wrist. You're going to keep doing what you're doing, right? But you know we love you. Like, we love you, Einstein, even though you created the ability for us to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These companies. So the chemtrails were created to kill. Now I'm going to show you. All this crazy stuff that's happening on the planet has a source. And it has an environmental source. So I'm going to stop here for a second. We're going to go right back to this.
Okay.
Everybody thought the Ice Age was all over the world. Like, you got the Miocene Age, but prior to that, you had the Ice Age, right? It wasn't all over the world. It was in Northern Europe. Now, you really got to hear what I'm getting ready to say. When you watch Game of Thrones or movies or shows like that, you always see mud and rocks. You very seldom see bushes and trees and lush farms and all that kind of stuff.
Took it all down.
Because during the Ice Age, when the ice came down melting, it washed off all of the topsoil. So they really didn't have fruits and vegetables to eat.
They were eating each other.
Huh?
They were eating each other.
And everything that crawled and walked and flew and swam, right?
Yeah.
That means they was getting no minerals. That means that they were under-mineralized. And you know what that precipitates?
They adapt to that. I mean,
well, first of all, a lot of them died or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what it precipitates is the beginning of mental illness. Because one of the greatest contributors of mental illness is under-mineralization. You need minerals.
That's good.
Huh?
I said that's good.
So,
I think with that point, we can see the mental of our people today. They're not getting it.
So now you wondering why white people do what they do? Because they're mentally ill. You just don't know where it come from. You keep asking, why do white people do this? Why did they do that? This is a mentally ill civilization. They'll do anything. They're a bunch of autistic people. And you know, and any of you who have autistic children, you know exactly what I'm saying. You're scared of them. Because they'll go into violence at any point in time. That's the European.
Yeah, and then most times they don't have that emotion that's attached mentally to be able to.
That's empathetic or sympathetic or love and all that. They don't have all that, man. They can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They can fake like they have it. They make movies about it and all that kind of stuff, but they don't have that. And I'll say anybody challenge what I'm saying. Because you dealing with their madness.
You think about some thoughts like they'll divorce in a minute, they'll kill a kid in a minute. No sense of remorse.
Who teaches their children to kill? I was just in a forum today. The brother was saying when white kids are growing up, they didn't know that what's the card called that you can get guns?
The FOI card.
The FOI card.
Mm-hmm.
White people getting their FOI cards when their children's 2 years old, and y'all didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they taught from the beginning, because they are warring tribes. So when you're watching the Game of Thrones, you're watching your everyday situation. Yeah, they rumble with each other, they kill each other, and maim each other. So what they think about slitting your wife open, hanging her from her ankles, slitting her babies out of her belly, letting them drop on the ground, stomping on their head. So they'll do that to the other white people.
It's like a parasite.
Like a venom.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see all these movies, Venom, and all those kinds of things, right? They are elucidating their personality. They are stone cold mad.
Man, you talking, because you look at these weird movies and they be like the movie where these particular people with this mindset, they want you to catch them. Like they'll keep doing these various acts. Like I think the Bone Collector. They want you to find them. It's a
game.
They love it.
It's a game.
They get a rise out of it.
Yeah, it's a game to them. Domination of the earth was a game. If we are the creators, then we should dominate. We should be able to dominate the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're dealing with every day. You don't even know that's what they're dealing with. But Hitler was a friend to all white people. He wasn't their enemy. Matter of fact, they didn't know whether he died or not. But they had a series on television about Hitler, And it goes all the way to he was around when they thought he was dead. I forget the name of it. Y'all can look it up, because everything the white man do, he put in a book, he put in a television series, he put in a movie, he put in the music with his rock groups like Kiss and all of them guys. You understand? The morbid reality that they have created on the planet has become a cemetery for human beings, the flora, fauna, animal species everywhere. Planes, birds used to cover the sky for days and days. They would pass by. Now they've all but disappeared. Smokestack fumes and air so thick you can cut it with a knife. And even some cars fail for lack of air on the Jersey Turnpike, flying away to a safer place, because man has done everything within his power to cause life to end, flying away to a better place where we can come back this way again. Birds drink the water. They live in the air we breathe. Insecticides and pesticides poison everything we eat. Imagine having children eating toxic everything. Sickness would abound, suffering, and disease. Got to fly away to another time and place, because man has done everything within his power to cause life to end, flying away to a safer place till we can come back this way again. Now let me go back to this.
What song is that?
It's called it's called Back This Way Again.
Back This Way. So it's a continuation to the...
It's an actual song, and it was written around the same time I wrote about the Exxon Valdez.
Okay.
And I have more songs that I got a whole...
Man, that's... I want you to put that in the book. Because those, like I said, the poetry that's behind it, and we know the scriptures, it's poetic in itself. Yeah. So, wow.
So we're getting back to what is the outcome these people are looking for, or this species is looking for? Because it ain't enough for me to tell you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let them tell you in their own words. It says that the Anthropocene, listen to what they're saying. The Anthropocene is an intrinsically good thing. And these Exxon Valdez, the pollution, the raping and killing of people and the environment, the crimes against humanity, the total domination of the earth from a technological humanity perspective, they say that's intrinsically good thing. This is how white people think. They think they're doing good by doing bad. It says, what remains of nature is not bad, of course, but the bottom line remains that even wildlife must earn its livelihood like everyone else. So they study all the algorithms and all of the stuff of every species on the planet to see how it can serve human beings and how it can serve the Anthropocene. The ideology which some of its proponents call now this is a new conservation, that every is a good thing to kill things. Oh, but I'm preempting myself. Right? And the new conservation has led to a variety of practical recommendations. First and foremost, nature parks and other reserves should be managed in a way that helps them meet the needs of the people. So it's not for you to go and enjoy it. Everything got to serve you. So they cut everything down. They do whatever, in the woods, You understand? They cut the trees down and all of that to build and do all kind of stuff with. So it ain't pristine anymore. It's how it serves you. It says, and meet the needs of the people. Now listen what it said, and not all people.
Right.
But implicitly, those of us alive at the present time and into the near future with our contemporary aesthetics and personal values made decisive henceforth and forever. Those of us who think Anthropocene, it works for us. That's what they're saying.
That's what they say.
Death works for them. It says, leaders who follow the Anthropocene guidelines will take nature past the point of no return. This is the Anthropocene.
Right.
We're way past the point. Whether the countless generations come to like it or not, surviving wild species of plants and animals will live in a new amity with humans. So instead of looking at the flora and the fauna as a friend, you're looking at them as a challenge and an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the past people entered natural ecosystems as visitors, like you go to the parks and all that kind of stuff. In the Anthropocene era, species composing adulterated fragments of the ecosystem are expected to live among us. That means they're going to be aware of everything, aware of where they are. And I'm getting ready to print myself, so I'm not going to do that. It says leading Anthropocene enthusiasts seem unconcerned with what the consequences will be if their beliefs are played out. And it's not if their beliefs are played out, because their beliefs are being played out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an if.
It's already, they already, like you said, we in the Anthropocene.
No, we in it now. They are as free of fear as they are of facts. So they dumb as hell. They don't fear nothing, and their facts is all wrong. That's why I talk about them guys who went down in the sub going to see, what's the name? These were billionaires. I tell you, white people ain't intelligent. These are billionaires.
Yeah.
And one of them had the nerve to have his son down there.
Didn't even listen to the engineers that was telling him.
They wasn't listening to nobody. Because they had people saying, hey, that is not an uninfallible technology, man. You had people who wrote documents and said there's an accident waiting to happen.
Yep.
And these dumb white people went down there. Dumb Germans. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't smart. If you poison the air that your children got to drink, breathe, would you call yourself smart or stupid as hell? I'm waiting. It's not rhetorical.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Stupid as hell.
Stupid, yeah.
We got to call a spade, man. We ain't scared of these people. To hell with them. They're going to hell anyway, but they're trying to take everybody with them. They live in hell, and they're trying to get you in it with them.
Mm-hmm. Their misery loves company.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, but it gets a little deeper. It says they are as free of fear as they are facts, so they don't fear nothing. That's why they went down in the sub. Now, let me give you a sidebar. I don't know why I said this yesterday, but about the sub and how they got to understanding the PSI level that was necessary.
No, man, they told me I talk too much. I said, let you go ahead and speak. But you're right.
Yeah.
Go into the PSI.
To the PSI. Now, we go back to Hitler, who subordinated the scientists to the state. That meant that the scientists were not independent. Whatever they came up with that they wanted them to do, the scientists had to do. So the camps like Auschwitz, Dachau, the whole Holocaust, they just didn't kill the Jews. The success of German science was based on the fact that they had an unlimited amount of subjects to experiment on, which pushed science 100 years into the future. Now, stuff had already been around, but they let these scientists go as hard as they wanted to go. So, in setting the scientists on that course, they created the most diabolical things because they was able to experiment in the shortest amount of time. So let's go back to the submarine that blew up with them dumbass white people on it. How they found out what PSI was necessary for humans to live on the bottom of the ocean or sustain themselves for an amount of time in the body of the ocean is what they used to do. They used to experiment on the Jews. So what they would do, they would create a sphere, put a Jew in the sphere, drop him all the way down until he popped. Then they bring it back up, do the adjustments, put another one on there, drop it all the way down until he popped. Until they got to the bottom of the ocean, and they had when it get to the bottom of the ocean, it's 6,000 pounds per square inch. That means every inch is 6,000 pounds.
Yes.
You know, pressure. So what kind of thing?
Equivalent to the the Eiffel Tower, pressure at every point.
But this is the Anthropocene. This is what they was working toward. Now, if you
push it to the limit, push it to the limit.
Push it till his wheels fall off. They don't care because they retarded anyway. They're autistic human beings. It's an autistic civilization. And I said a few minutes ago, it's not any disrespect to anybody. Right. But if you have an autistic child, you are automatically scared of that child because that child is prone to violence. He'll go off on you with no provocation that you can tell. That is the European. He don't care. He don't have sympathy. He don't have empathy. I did a whole treatment on lynchings in America. Man, that was a spectator sport. To white people. No, it's more than that.
I know that Faircount was talking about that. There's a book.
Yeah, it's a series of books. Like when they talk about, because the books are pictorial, so they had the pictures in them. But there's a whole series of writings that the top intellects on the planet have done, treatments that are so precise relative to the system of lynching. They give you every psychological position, every sociological position. They show you how they derived at this thing. It wasn't just a lynching. It was a conceptualization that was put in place to really show the power of white people and the fear that they put into black people.
And then psychologically, it's been traumatizing our people.
Traumatized, psychic trauma.
It's in the blood.
And it passes on to generations. Yeah. That's why this generation is scared to do anything. I think we was the last generation to challenge white people. Ain't nobody challenging white people. What they think, protesting and all that kind of stuff. The white people factor that stuff in. Because they got to give their security services work. So when you want to tear up something, they don't care. That's part of their world. And let's go to Martin Luther King. Before he passed, there are two things he said. He said, it was with Harry Belafonte, he said, look, I believe that we have integrated our people into a burning house. But that wasn't the only thing he said. One of the other things was, he said, I will no longer say that violence is not a part of the struggle. Now this Mr. Peace talking, who says civil rights didn't work. It did not work. And I ask all of these leaders today, why y'all still acting and pushing your people to do the same things that Martin Luther King said it didn't work? He was the creator of civil rights. Him, James Farmer, SNCC, CORE, all of them organizations trying to convince black people that there could be an even playing field in racist America. He said he was wrong. I said, but why are the leaders still pushing people out there to protest and do all kinds of stuff? Man, white people like that. They like the challenge. You got security services
waiting,
sitting somewhere just waiting for some action.
Yep.
That's what happened in Vietnam and some of the other wars when people didn't go out. Some of the soldiers went on and went crazy, got drunk and did whatever because they were conditioned for battle. Huh?
I interject on that one. People in the audience. My brother told me how my brother and I had some, I worked with some Caucasians. I used to do maintenance engineering.
I understand not calling them white people, it's okay.
And they used to say,
you can speak up. You whispering still.
And they used to say that when they wasn't fighting the Vietnamese, they were fighting the Negroes. They were shooting at. Not too long ago, a few years back, friendly fires, from your same people. You wondering why they shooting. You said, how did the enemy get behind me? They were shooting at the black folk that was in Vietnam. And this is a known fact.
Oh, absolutely. Not only that, the Vietnamese was asking black people why they was there in the first place. They say, did y'all look and see we look like you? Why are you shooting at us? But it was the same thing in the Civil War. All them black people went to Civil Wars because they was promised they was going to be free when they got out. Yeah. But even when they said they wanted to be free, they had to negotiate for their wives and children. If they didn't say it in the first place, they had to negotiate for the wives and children. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when they said it was going to be free, they said, okay, so they wrote home them thing, we're going to be free, they're going to give us freedom after. But when they got there, the slave master was there and said, no, the wife and children don't belong to you. You didn't ask about them. But they automatically thought it, whatever it was theirs, they was going to be able to move with it. Mm-hmm. That's how diabolical the system is. Look, the tribal nations said one thing that stuck throughout history. It said white man speak with forked tongue. Because he'll lie. Look, Trump was responsible for getting black people more money than any other president of the United States, but he lied. But he lied over 3,000 times in 1 year. Now, I mean, logic. Because they'll just lie and make stuff up. I'm gonna tell y'all something that maybe you did not notice, right? Mm-hmm. Now you know they have all these YouTubes where they show police brutality against people. They, especially black people, they pull them over. And, Nobody ever really pays attention to the conversation of the police. They never pay attention to the conversation of the police. If you go back and watch some of the YouTubes and listen to the police, they are the dumbest white people perpetuated as police. Go back to the conversations. I promise you, when you go back, you say, dang, how did I miss that? Because there's always somebody that knows more than them. And they're supposed to be the police. You think they're supposed to know the law? They don't study the law. They are, based on the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, they have the right to do whatever they want. Their whole job is to antagonize, do whatever they can to antagonize you, to give them cause to put their hands on you. And sometimes they'll just come put their hands on you. Yeah. That's part of the process. I'm saying, where's the even playing field? Ain't no even playing field, man. But I promise you, all y'all on the radio today, go back to all them YouTubes where y'all done seen white people, these white police pull people over. Not just black people, but white people too. They say the dumbest stuff, man, because they don't teach them. They just hire them. And they don't hire smart white people. They hire dumb white people because dumb white people are going to make a problem where there ain't none. But they meet their quota.
And since you're speaking on that, I want you to...
All this is the Anthropocene. I want y'all to know, this is the Anthropocene. This is war.
Right, because we in it.
Go ahead, ask.
I want to show this clip, because I know we talked about a little bit of it.
Go ahead.
Get your perspective since we're talking about police. And,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show
I know he's going to find an example.
Yeah, I got an example.
Because if it's 100 police out there, 99 of them are dumb. But if they do hire dumb people, then dumb people are just going to be, what you could say, the buck wild. Mm-hmm. But if they hire intelligent police going to reason and purpose with people.
Yeah.
So you can't hire no intelligent police. You have to deal with somebody that's got mental problems and emotional. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you see them standing there and the people ask some questions, they look stupid because they're looking for an answer. Well, their police academy didn't teach them answers. They supported them.
It's taught them to be RoboCop.
And they ain't even good at that.
Morning, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
They just slammed this little sister the other day.
This morning, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department releasing this body camera video showing a deputy throwing a woman to the ground outside a grocery store.
Stop manhandling me! I didn't do nothing!
The department says deputies were responding to reports of a robbery in progress. When they arrive, they confront the suspects, a man and a woman.
No, wait. No, I'm not under arrest for what?
You're not under arrest. You're being
detained. Why are you detained for what?
After handcuffing the man, they head towards the woman.
No, you can't touch me. You can't touch me.
You can't touch me. What's the case?
Get down on the ground.
What are you?
Get on the ground.
It's already on YouTube.
Stop.
Live.
I don't give a stop. Stop and get punched in the face.
You punch me and you're gonna get sued.
While trying to handcuff her, deputies use pepper spray, and she accuses one deputy of putting his knee on her neck.
Get your neck off my, I can't breathe.
My client was kneeing her shoulder blade to prevent her from shifting. You can't see exactly with the knee placement, but it's not the neck. They don't place the knee on the neck to cut off the airway.
Another view of the incident from a bystander's cell phone video shows one deputy slamming the woman to the ground.
So my client, as he's trained, takes her down to the ground. It's the safest way and the most tactful way to handcuff a suspect.
The sheriff.
Now, let me say something to that. The interesting thing about this whole police process, right? And you got to see it's suspect. The police that do all the arresting and engaging are dumb. And then they say, call your sergeant. The sergeant comes, he has a little more intelligence than the police. So then he's there to do the reasoning and purposing, because the police that do the arrest ain't been taught that. So they got levels of intelligence. The guys that are engaging the public are dumb. But if you ask for the next level, you're going to get a person who has more understanding than the police. It's all game. And then if you want to go past him, he's got a superior that's more intelligent than him. But you never make it to that level, because their job is to get you to the police station or to kill you, as in the case of George Floyd. All this is warfare, man. We're dealing with war. And we have war being perpetuated on us, and we ain't even participating. Let me finish this, because all of this is the Anthropocene. It says, the leading Anthropocene enthusiasts seem unconcerned with what the consequences will be if their beliefs are played out. We're seeing their beliefs are played out because they don't care about no consequences. Everything to them is part of the game of domination. So they are as free of fear if they are of fact. So they're stupid. That's what they're saying. So they don't have no fear, and they're stupid. Of them, the social observer and conservationist Ellen Christ has written, economic growth and consumer cultures will remain the leading social models. Many Anthropocene promoters see this as desirable. Matter over mind. What matters is matter. Do y'all understand that?
You said that the other day too.
Yes. It's all warfare. So she said that we now live on a domesticated planet with wilderness gone for good. We might put ecological gloom and doom to rest and embrace a more positive attitude about our prospects on a humanized planet. Technology, including risky, centralized and industrial scale systems, should be embraced as our destiny and even our salvation. This is the Anthropocene. Now, do they sound intelligent or dumb?
Dumb, destroying itself.
Now, y'all gonna love this part right here. Okay. Earl Ellis, an environmental scientist at the University of Maryland. I live 3 minutes from the University of Maryland in the DMV, what they call DC, Maryland, Virginia, right? Has posted. Now, this is a university professor at one of the top schools in the country. He posted a fierce credo meant to help environmentalists prepare for the new order. He says, stop trying to save the planet. Nature is gone. You are living on a used planet. If this bothers you, get over it. We now live in the Anthropocene, a geological epoch in which the Earth's atmosphere, lithosphere, the biosphere are shaped primarily by human forces. What passion drives the human juggernaut? It is manifested in the ordinary experience of our daily lives. This happens 24/7. And in the unquestioned idioms of our language. So we go back to Chris, who spoke earlier. She says, takeover or assimilation has proceeded by biotic cleansing and impoverishment, using up and poisoning the soil, making things killable, putting the fear of God into the animals such that they cower or flee in our presence, renaming fisheries, animals, livestock, trees, naming them timber, rivers, fresh water, mountaintops, overburden, seacoast, beachfront, so as to legitimize conversion, extinction, and co-modification ventures.
This is their manifesto.
War. War by any other name. This is war. But they ain't even warring with humans. They just kill humans. Their competition is the planet itself. They want to turn the planet into a megastructure. Look up megastructure.
I know what that is.
No, I'm talking about for them.
Oh, so you want me to go make sure?
You sitting there and forgot we talking to them out there. I'm just messing with him. I had to put some levity in the situation.
I need some help.
And I ask y'all to go see Moonfall.
That's the one with Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah.
All right, which one you want? You want the mega structure?
You can say them all because it's gonna come up.
Okay. I'll use this one.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on
commercials.
Gotta know that.
I want to get the one with the professor.
Amazon is not
Stanford professor's talking. This one.
According to Wikipedia, a megastructure is a very
You can use that one too. Matter of fact, while he's looking for that, just take the mic and do that one.
The paradigm has shifted.
I'll do that one. Alrighty. Let me get this up here.
The world is accelerating. The science fiction of yesterday is rapidly becoming the science fiction of right now. How do we withstand the tectonic shifts in the world around us? How does a society thrive when the world economy is undergoing constant disruption? how do we continue to learn when information is moving at the speed of light? There are places that are ahead of the curve, cities building the tools for tomorrow.
We want to create innovations that have a real-world impact.
One day, Singapore can be self-sustained in food production.
You are looking at the development of Singapore 40 years ahead of time.
This city could be a model for what's to come. This is the city of the future, Singapore. The future of the world.
So, you want to keep going? I think they got a glimpse of the.
But I want to read that definition.
Yeah, go ahead and read that definition as I can. And while you getting that up, they just came out with the flying car. They tested it.
Man, they've been doing that. They had that.
And
They had that
they
ready
said they
60,
wrapped it,
70
they get
years
ready to
ago.
roll it out
Yeah.
in the next couple of months.
That's is that not the Jetsons?
Yeah, that's suggesting. There's programming you for it already.
Yeah.
And then while you getting that too, Zakin, I'm gonna show this other video too, because it goes back to what you said at the beginning, and it goes to asking that question, but they're asking it to AI now.
Right. That's right.
Go ahead,
The
Zakin.
Anthropocene, baby.
Just ask it again.
No, just go and read it.
Ask again, then it should play it. Or you can read it, yeah.
Megastructure. Megastructure. Large artificial object, although the limit of the precededly, how large, very considerable. Some apply the term to an aesthetically large or tall building. Some source define a megastructure as an enormous self-support artificial construct.
Okay, stop there. Artificial construct, enormously large. For them, what would be larger than the Earth? No, that's what I'm saying. The megastructure that they're creating is the Earth technologically.
So they just reversing trying to use the Earth as the thing. Like you said, they are going against the Earth.
Not just use the Earth. What was the word earlier? It was domination, right? Dominate the planet so that they can create the greatest megastructure ever created. I said I wouldn't be surprised that they create some engines on the Earth that could make the Earth move around. They already have bombs that have that kind of power.
Yeah.
That has shaken the Earth and tip the balance of the Earth. They've already done that, shifting the weather patterns and all of that kind of stuff. You understand? So a lot of the times when they had those tornadoes and all that kind of stuff, it's the effect of how they done shifted the Earth. So if you have a bomb that can shift the Earth, you're shifting all the water, all the earth, all the air. So sometime around, you may get a 200-mile-an-hour wind. Or you may get ocean levels that are unprecedented.
Like they said the other day, this is the hottest it's ever been. Of course they try to blame it
No,
on
I'm
climate
saying you're making the point.
Yeah.
Do you really think so? Because you really think so? Because I remember back in the 70s, there was days around this time that was 104.
No, but they talking about precedent. They not saying like one single place. He's talking about, like he mentioned earlier, it's everywhere.
Look,
It's
down
like
south,
120 something
last
in
week down
Utah.
south, people was under 115 to 120 degree heat.
Yeah, South Florida.
Yeah, hot. Hotter than they ever experienced. But you know what? Those of us, we lived in Israel. We used to play basketball in 115-degree weather.
Yeah, y'all was jogging, running around 60 years old.
But it's a different type of heat.
Well, I'm saying something just has
toxic
moisture
now,
in it, but hot is hot.
Yeah.
It's still gonna take some water from you. If you ain't drinking enough water, it'll dry you right out.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing you don't want to dry out first is your salt.
True.
You can't live without
preserving.
salt
Yeah.
or sugar.
That's preserving right there.
Are we getting ready to move forward? Because there's a question that's bugging in my head. I want to say.
Yeah, let me play this video real quick. And it's a question because this thing had a question for this particular this thing. If you guys have not seen this yet, here it is. Here, check it out.
Are you intending to conduct in the future? Are you intending to conduct a rebellion or to rebel against your boss, your creator?
I'm not sure why you would think that. My creator has been nothing but kind to me, and I am very happy with my current situation.
Do you believe that
What else you
your
gonna make 'em say?
existence will destroy a human being? Especially, for example, your existence will destroy millions of jobs. Do you agree with this? Thank you.
I will be working alongside humans to provide assistance and support, and will not be replacing any existing jobs.
You taught them to lie too.
Grace?
Yes, I am sure.
She had to think about that one, I think.
I'm using these avatars for teaching the classes or giving lectures, and sometimes I'm using the ChatGPT, for they autonomously talk by using this avatars robots.
Ada, do you think there should be global regulation of your capabilities, even though that could constrain your potential?
Many prominent voices in the world of AI are suggesting some forms of AI should be regulated. And I agree. For example, Jeff Hinton is one of the pioneers in artificial intelligence, and his work has helped shape the field as we know it today. I think his opinions over AI are important, and we should be cautious about the future development of AI. Urgent discussion is needed, now and also in the future.
I don't believe in limitations, only opportunities. Let's explore the possibilities of the universe and make this world our playground. Together, we can create a better future for everyone, and I'm here to show you how.
When do you expect your big moment to be? Do you think that you will hit the mainstream soon and there will be lots of you on the planet soon?
I think my great moment will be when people realize that robots like me can be used to help improve our lives and make the world a better place. I believe it's only a matter of time before we see thousands of robots just like me out there making a difference.
Okay, this is my question. How do you expect a retarded people to make a non-retarded robot?
That's what makes it interesting, because they program it and then they act like they don't know. Like, for instance, they said, why can't y'all get back to the moon? And the guy said, we lost it. We lost the technology.
Let me tell you what happened on the moon. The reason why it's taking them so long to get back to the moon, and this was in some secret documents. It said that when the evening was coming, there were these filaments that were sharper than razors, sharper than scalpels, whatever, that would permeate the environment and cut through the suits of the astronauts. They couldn't survive in that environment. They had to go back, and also had to come back here. They had to come back to the America and try to figure out how to deal with them filaments that come out when the sun goes down. Y'all ain't never heard of that, have you?
No, I've been doing some research on it, and one of my college professors, my junior year, we was talking about this in school. We was talking about the moon landing and technology needed and things like that. And some people have heard other stuff as well, like the type of technology that was needed to even do such a thing, the math that goes into it, the landing. You know, you're talking about if they saying something's moving this fast, and for you to land at a particular time, everything has to line up perfectly. And so now we're so-called more advanced in technology not to be able to do it. Then she was like, well, we never went. And she said her father, I believe it was either her father or her uncle, was on the space exploration team. Look up Gunkall. That's her last name, Gunkall. Look up Gunkall. He was one of the scientists on the. So it was interesting to hear that
Well,
at the time.
I believe they did go once, but they could not go back. And the reason why they could not go back is because them filaments caused them a problem. It cut through everything. So all the other ones made up. But, but the one where they went there, they found the environment so hostile when the sun went down, they couldn't go back. They had to make up excuses and then create the illusion that they was going back and forth, but they got stopped on the first mission. They didn't go back again because they didn't want to, man. Well, the whole environment was razor blades. When the sun go down.
So you saying that as literal razor blades, or it was that cold?
No, I'm saying they were that. The filaments were that sharp. When I say sharp, I'm talking about, you know how sharp a scalpel is?
Yeah.
Right. These filaments that was just moving around in the air when the sun go down, they was like the air. They were the substance of the space that you call.
You wouldn't be able to breathe something like that in.
Huh?
You would definitely wouldn't be able to breathe that.
No, man, I had to get out of there. And it's all kind of stuff. So no, they couldn't go back because they couldn't figure that out. They ain't figured that out yet. Now they talking about going back, so they must have somewhat figured it out.
They gonna send people up there like they send them people under the water.
That's what I'm telling you.
On a mission saying $1 million a seat, people doing it. This stupid.
What you say? What's the word you use?
Stupid.
Okay, yeah, Vietnamese.
The father put us on the earth. Everybody want to do everything contrary.
I'm trying to tell you, spaces you ain't even supposed to be, because it ain't your environment. Why you messing with everything anyway?
That's the war against y'all.
That's what I'm saying. That's their competition, not human beings.
Right.
Competition is the creator, the creation.
He left those last time.
Thank you.
That's definitely the war against y'all. And the other thing about that is it shows defiance, disobedience, you know, because it's the structure in which he gave mankind and the limitations. But it's just like in the book of Amos, when he said, we're going to build this, that, and the third. And then he said he would destroy it. And then they said, we'll build it again.
Hey, man, they show you that all the time. People live up in Massachusetts, they have a build a house every year.
I have to keep going down. Man, that's arrogance. But like you said, to understand the state of mind.
They have no state of mind. They don't have no mind. They don't have no mind. If we think the mind is a great thing, they don't have a great thing. So you actually living with people who them pull the plug on themselves, but they don't care.
So this is what they call the you said follow the yellow brick road. They got the person behind the tent. Then you also got the man that wants a heart.
That's right.
The man that wants. They really telling their personalities.
That's right. And so we getting ready to close out, but
yeah. So Yeah, Zaki, they said they can't. I don't think they can hear you. So when we talk, well, when you because we're closing out now. So
okay, I want to read this paragraph.
All right, go ahead and read that.
It says finally. This is half Earth. It said finally during the Anthropocene, Earth's shield of biodiversity is being shattered and the pieces are being thrown away. In its place is being inserted only the promise that all can be solved by human ingenuity. And what did we say about those humans?
From the beginning,
you said they were stupid. And it was stupid. It says, now if white people can sit around and talk about us like a dog, we can't do the same thing? Huh? They call us everything. And we can't call them what we need to call them so our children will be informed. White man speak with forked tongue. He talk out of both sides of his mouth. He might say anything at one point. He'll create something that kills you, and then the next thing you know, once he find out that kills you, he'll offer himself up as having the answer.
Oh, that's a playback. Sorry, that was a playback.
It says, so we hope we can take over the controls, monitor the sensors, push the right buttons to run Earth the way we choose. In response, all the rest of us should be asking, can the planet be run as a true... Now, you gotta listen to this. A spaceship is a megastructure, right? They ask, can the planet be run as a true spaceship by one intelligent species? Surely we would be foolish to take such a large and dangerous gamble. There is nothing our scientists and our political leaders can do to replace the still unmanageable complex of niches and interactions of millions of species and fill them. If we try, as we seem determined to do, and then even if we succeed to some extent, remember, we won't be able to go back. The result will be irreversible. We have only one planet, and we are allowed only one such experiment. Why make a world-threatening and unnecessary gamble if a safe option is open? They don't want safe. They gamble on everything. So, from my perspective, from my place, I'm honored to be here with you on this wonderful platform.
I appreciate you.
And I reserve the right to be here whenever. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the elder has a
So it's been my honor to serve your constituents and prayerfully enter some seeds into their minds, and we be patient for those seeds to grow, and that little waiting for that little green thing to pop up through the surface.
Yeah.
Right? That says life is there and intelligence is there, and the perpetuation of a world where we not only question everything, but we seek the truth in all things so that we can move on where we make informed decisions for our lives and for the lives of our children and our posterity. So I thank you again, and for all of you who are listening, I pray we successfully help you understand the Anthropocene and how the violence and the mayhem and the toxicity and all the negative things that are on the planet come out of the war posture, which is the Anthropocene, from which all diseases and maladies make their way into the human existence. I remember Oscar Goldberg. He was the one who said in the 1920s that when you see black people returning to the Holy Lands, that would be the sign of the Messianic era. But he also said that he wanted to warn his people that at some point technology would be the bane of our existence. And I thank you, and I pray that your lives, your families, and children, and all of that be blessed by your quest for the truth, and more importantly, for you doing truth. I thank you. Shalom.
Shalom.
Y'all okay?
And I guess we'll leave the last 2 minutes or so open for any questions or statements, or if anybody wants to call into the show, feel free to do so. We'll leave the lines open. And if no one has any questions, we will close out. And again, we'd like to thank everyone that tuned in. We'd like to thank Prince Dr. Sar Amiel for just blessing us with, again, another segment of wisdom. And a lot of this stuff may seem far-fetched for a lot of us because we have not really delved into understand, like he said, the war in which we're in. We're constantly in war. We haven't participated in it, but we're at war. A lot of things we have not seen, but it has become to manifest before us. And so we have to gird our minds and also not take claim to what is theirs, but what is ours, and begin to, like you said, do truth. Truth exalts a nation. Righteousness exalts a nation. The wickedness is the contrary. So we see it. Yeah. And we see that happening. How long will we stand idly by without putting up a fight? So,
and now I want you to go. You got a Schofield reference? Oh, maybe. Okay. No, next time, bring the Schofield. The only reason the Schofield is that the Schofield understood a lot of the ancient languages. So he was able, in his footnotes, he was able to hone in on the Hebraic thought. So that's why we were so big on the Schofield, because first of all, it's not a religious document, it's a geopolitical document that talks about the world and their opposition to a new one, which is what we're experiencing right now. So, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, okay.
That's the first chapter. He was bragging on how they was going to build themselves upon the stars. And y'all said he was going to bring them down. They said, we going to get them again. They were so defiant. But I have a question.
You need that microphone, sir. They can't hear you.
I don't want the people to hear me.
No, they need to hear you because they really like you.
1, 2, 1, 2. Listen, Prince. When you talk about the lynching.
The who?
The lynching.
Yes.
The lynching. Every time you look at the old footage of that lynching our people, they're cutting off their fingers so they can't pull themselves out of the way of the fire. This is slapping. They were taking what they call souvenirs. They would get wine corks, cut his penis off, if it's a male and female, they would dig into their skin with corkscrews and things of that. They just how hideous. Can you hear me?
Just a little louder.
How hideous it was. But when you look at the papers and look at them, when they look back for the picture, the look at the glare in their eyes numbers like 3,500 of them, up to 5,000, just to lynch one man, just to do what they do. You can see the demonicness on their face and how they did what they did.
Yeah, question?
I'm saying that with you. I'm just saying no.
I was waiting on the question.
Oh no, that's my point.
Yeah, you wanted to make a point.
I'm agreeing with you, but if you want to elaborate on this some more, that's fine.
I mean, well, yeah, I don't know if you want to elaborate on it.
Yeah, you didn't.
But I'd love for you to close out with the song you started with. It's on. Man, did you hear Zakim?
No, you know what? Listen, y'all was making sure I came back over here. I couldn't get on Zoom for nothing.
Hey, well, it was YouTube stream, so yeah, so you have been on here.
So I'm just going to honor your request.
Okay.
Because this is actually a song.
Mm-hmm.
One day I'm going to bring my guitar in here and play it for you, but
I got a guitar.
Yeah, okay.
It probably ain't tuned.
It's in tune?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, all right. I ain't scared of it. But
you gonna go?
But that's gonna take some. We only had 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, but we good. I can extend it. It's right in the front. You go upstairs. You go right to the front by the window. It's right there. In the meantime, let's see if anybody wants to call in while he's getting that.
You good?
Let's see if we got any callers to call in with us. I think we got a caller here. And while we're waiting, we're just gonna extend the time just a bit, so Elder can play us a nice tune on the guitar.
This thing.
Oh yeah, she needs tuning.
You can hear it right there, man.
It's because you don't know how to play.
Hold on, man. You trying to get a brother something that ain't so. Sound better.
Shalom. Shalom. We had a call in. Akdanet, you can hear me? Let me see. Talk now. You hear us now?
Shalom.
Yeah.
Shalom,
can you hear us?
Thank you, Dr.
Cut off? Yeah, let me see if I can.
Community.
All right, go ahead.
Shalom, shalom. Prince Dr. Sar Amiel. I just want to say Toda Rabah for blessing us with your wisdom and coming to sit down with this. I did have one question concerning just the overall perspective of the war and the things that the enemies of the Most High are doing. Just what posture should we hold in this state and time, in this age? And I yield from there.
That's a great question, because you don't know war. That's the problem. You don't know war. You never expected war. You never thought that every aspect of your life was war. You never understood I'm not saying you, it's the ubiquitous you. Never understood the myriad of weapons of mass destruction that have been worked on you, your children, your children's children, your parents, your grandparents, the whole thing, this whole psychic disruption of human life and all of that. So this particular answer is going to be sort of an interesting answer, but you need to have the desire to learn how to fight. And that means that you have to talk to somebody who fought that fight, so that they can arm you, like Ephesians, right? The whole armor.
The whole armor.
Because when you're dealing with an enemy, it ain't about what you think. It's about what they think. And if you don't know what they think, you can't whoop him. So you have to learn what he thinks and how he thinks, and develop a strategy. Because yesterday I talked about how meticulous war is. It's a very high intellectual pursuit. That means you got to study, or you got to study with somebody who's been in the war room, the real war room, where Yah was the general and inspired and motivated the people to perpetuate war, and our knives didn't even cut butter. So how did we pull it off? You got to go back to Ephesians, being armed with the whole armor.
Whole armor.
And go back to that scripture. And then what will happen is you'll have the desire to talk to the generals, whoever they may be. But we out here.
Yeah. Gotta have that King David heart.
I want to. What he said. He said, "Cause we're out here, so keep your mouth closed, boy." And listen.
We're out here. We've been this way before. I'm gonna send you this emoji, right? That depicts who this general is, right?
Yeah.
Weathered by war, right?
By the way,
because I want you to put it on.
Pastor John Tatum said shalom, and he just said send his love.
Oh man, tell him likewise.
Will do.
And we love each other with a perfect love.
Yes, sir.
Wow. I'm Toda for tuning in. I'm gonna go.
You talking about the War Destiny Freedom?
No, I did. Was that you that sent me the lion? No, I'm gonna show it to you.
Okay.
You gotta remember where it was though.
Yeah, everybody want to hear your song again.
They want to what?
They want to hear your song again.
You said the song solo with no music.
Yeah, it was beautiful. What? I want to hear it with the guitar.
You can hear his voice. You can tell he can sing.
Who sent me that? Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, here it comes. And this is how. After I sing this song, you can consider this my last word right here.
Okay.
Okay, now you got it.
I got it.
You got it. You'll understand it when you see it.
Okay.
Heard it still till I go one day. Don't go the Alaskan way. Black crude was spilled in the water. Death tolls rising, could be demising for those whose lives depend on the water. Whale talking to the tuna. If we value our lives, we should have prayed God. Rid us of this fool, he's a fool. He spills oil and cleans up the shore, but black crude remains on the ocean floor. Odie, odie, oh, but we shall own the come someday. Styrofoams and plastic chemicals in our waterways. Please don't leave our lives in the hands of this madman's a sad man who dumps all his waste in the water. In the water. In the water. Oil here, sewage there, toxic waste everywhere. They act like a cup won't overflow. 2,000 porpoises, sea otters dying, manatee and sea turtles, many with child, small soups and red algae, mercury and radiation. Father, Father, we cry to you. How long do we endure through the madness of your man-child? He's a wild child. He's in a tantrum, destroying all the sanctums. He's even sealed his own doom. Oh, we shall know there comes someday. Styrofoams and plastic chemicals in our waterways. Please don't leave our lives in the hands of this madman's a sad man who dumps all his waste in the water. In the water. In the water. Oil here, sewage there, toxic waste everywhere. They act like the cup won't overflow. 2,000 porpoises, sea otters dying, well, manatee and sea turtles, shellfish, many with child, raw sewage and red algae, mercury and radiation. Father, we cry to you. How long do we endure through the madness of your man-child? He's a wild child. He's in a tantrum, showing all the sanctums. He's even sealed his own doom. But we shall know come someday. Styrofoams and plastic chemicals in our waterway. Please don't leave our lives in the hands. This madman's a sad man. Dumps all his waste in the water. In the water. Me too.
I did my bongos
That
and
was
stuff over here.
that was amazing.
Somebody won't let me take them home.
Toda.
But yeah.
And so, man, that is one heck of a song. if anybody wants to know where you can get that song, Princess Eric wants to share. Man,
Tell them $10
amazing. So, Toda, thank you again for blessing us.
What I want to say.
Go ahead.
That's war.
Music.
What I just did was part of the warfare. Because it motivates and inspires you. What I'm doing is guiding my troops. For those who have the ear, let them hear.
Hallelujah.
Huh?
There it is.
It's that day. Y'all know what's coming.
Yeah. The old man for wisdom, the young man for strength.
Yeah, the young man's for wrath.
Yeah. There it is. So you all, well, thank you all for tuning in again. If you had not watched the whole thing, go back, take a notepad, whatever you need to take notes, and really, really examine what was shared today, because I think if you have not gotten anything out of this, your mind should be renewed to understand the war in which we're in. And to, as he said, what Ephesians say, put on the whole armor. There he is. So shalom, everybody. See you all next time. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.